This is Will Nunziata, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film. And today I am thrilled to be speaking with Barry Gordon of Holding Hands. But before we get to our interview, here's a sneak peek at Barry singing one of his original tunes called English Ivy. Hello, Barry. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. And we're only a few subway stops away from one another. We found out just a few moments ago. I want to dig in, though, right away to your beautiful song, English Ivy. I want to know, Barry, how the idea of it came about.
Well, that song in particular, I wrote because I had this realization that I was just getting kind of stuck in this rut that I created myself. And I knew that I had friends that were, trying to get me outside of my apartment or go do stuff with them. But I was just kind of locking myself in my room, writing songs and just kind of being very introverted in that sense. So there's a lyric, there's pictures of friends up on my wall. And it just like that realization was that, okay, they're trying to help me out and I'm no longer getting like rooted to my room and Ivy's not growing me into the floorboards, that kind of imagery.
It's beautiful imagery, but also I think obviously a song, right, you wrote pre-pandemic, but I think that it's something that we can all relate to now.
Yeah, it's timely. And it's kind of funny because pre-pandemic is when I wrote most of the songs that I put on my EP. And there's just been so much fatigue of being locked inside now. It's the opposite. I haven't been able to really been as creative as I was before, even though I was forcing myself to be in my room at the time.
You know what? But thank God you had that wealth of material to work on and work with throughout the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And I want to know, Barry, in going back, I guess, to your childhood, were there specific musical influences that you find, if you were to track it to when you created Holding Hands, your personal solo music collective, of this kind of folk meets indie feel?
My dad had a band when I was a kid. I grew up in Louisiana and we lived pretty much in the sticks. So during the summers, it was hard for me to hang out with friends. So I would hang out with my siblings and my dad would be home because he worked nights, and he and his friend would be recording in basically the back sunroom area. And he was like the one who showed me how to play guitar. I remember my sister and I would be like sneaking into the room while they were recording. And in one of the actual songs, there's a clip of my sister giggling in the middle of it. And it was a big deal when he got on the radio for the first time in our local little Q93 station. So that was a big influence. Outside of that, I listened to a lot of Velvet Underground and Lou Reed. I really like the way he writes music, and I like how it tells a story for somebody and not necessarily it was about something, but it's meant for a person, like specific type of people to listen to. And I think I try and do that with my lyrics. It's more story based and personal rather than, oh, this is really pretty, let me write about that.
I think it's amazing though, because I think within your storytelling, there's also a poetry to it, Barry. And I think within it, it also makes it that much more relatable. Do you find that you've heard that before about your stuff?
Yeah, somebody told me, I played this show at Danny Clinch's gallery at Asbury Park, and someone there said that it sounded nostalgic in a great way. And I could only think that means that it was relatable, to something nostalgic in their life. So that was a pretty cool compliment, honestly.
I'd say that's amazing, especially now. I think when people want music that's kind of like a familiar blanket, you know, something that's familiar but new, and that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, you're doing it, Barry. Listen, I could speak with you forever. I want to let the audience know, though, for more on the incredible Barry, aka Holding Hands, you could read more about him and all that he has coming up right below this video. Barry, I'm so excited that you're joining this incredible new social media app, FENIX360. You're going to be able to connect with artists all over the world. I mean, I've spoken today already with artists in London, Korea, and China alone, and that's just a Thursday.
Yeah, just a Thursday. That's exciting to hear.
No, it really is. You're an incredible artist, Barry, and I'm so grateful that I'm going to try that again, Barry. And
Go
I
for
am
it.
so grateful that we are now connected.
Me too. And we're neighbors,
And
basically.
we're freaking neighbors. Hello.